I can't believe we're actually doing a headline on this. Like, what a crank.
About this recall, because it sounds like a big deal if it's affecting every car Tesla has ever sold in China. What does this mean?
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit too early to call victory yet, but in today's video, I want to point out the fact that the recent fear, uncertainty and doubt being spread by the fake news, the corrupt mainstream media relating to Tesla appears to be having zero impact on the price of Tesla stock for a change. Despite the recent onslaught of FUD, we can see that from its recent low over the last month, Tesla stock is up around 20% and has been fairly consistently growing day after day after day after day in the lead up to the end of Q2 2021. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, Q2 2021 will break every record ever. Record deliveries, record revenue, record profitability, blah fucking blah blah blah. It's obvious as hell. Now, whether or not Tesla sells on the news in terms of a great Q2 or not, I don't know. But I'm telling you guys now, this is going to smash records left, right and center. Oh yeah, and then the same thing's going to happen in Q3 and then Q4 and then Q1 of 2022 and so on. You guys get the point. This is going to be a recurring theme for years to come with Tesla. Record-breaking quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. This is what happens when you have a high-growth company that continues to scale production and has a compelling product. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. The attempts from the mainstream media to spread fear, uncertainty and doubt about Tesla and their complete and utter failure to do so in the past month. And by the way, since I know there's a lot of crypto lovers watching and people who like free stuff, it's your lucky day. For a limited time, you can get up to $250 in free crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. It also helps out the channel. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
About this recall, because it sounds like a big deal if it's affecting every car Tesla has ever sold in China. What does this mean?
Here you can see the anchor immediately coming in for the kill, hard and fast, spreading the FUD, trying to freak people out. Sounds like a big deal, the recall. Oh yeah, you know what, by the way, she's actually right. It does sound like a big deal until you read beyond the headline and understand that it's literally an over-the-air update. I discussed this in a recent video, so I'm not going to go down the whole spiel again. I'll put a card in the corner if you haven't seen the video. But just notice immediately, straight away, trying to freak people out, cause a flight or fight response. Again, this is how the media works. If it bleeds, it leads. You got to freak people out. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, violence, disasters, catastrophes. That's how you get attention. That's how you retain eyeballs. That's how you get that advertising money. So I understand the modus operandi here, but it's worth pointing out immediately the anchor here is going straight in for the kill, trying to freak people out about absolutely nothing. This is non-news. As I said, it's literally an over-the-air software update to change how autopilot is engaged in audio notification. It's literally non-news, just trying to stir up fear, uncertainty and doubt. But guess what? It ain't working.
Look, I think ultimately this is really the end of a chapter, rips the Band-Aid off. I mean, this has been long going really for the last year with China regulatory authorities. And I think the stock reaction is investors are just happy that they do the fix that they put in the rearview mirror.
So for the record, the fake news FUD tsunami relating to this China over-the-air update for Tesla happened outside of market hours. So who knows what could have happened to the price of Tesla stock had this news broken during market hours and investors panicked and freaked out before they actually understood what was going on. But let's have a look at what happened to Tesla stock's reaction in the very first trading day after this fake news spread. We can see Tesla stock was up 2.51% for the day and absolutely shot up in the early trading, up as much as 3 or so percent before rebounding a little bit, closing the day out up 2.5% and fairly flat after hours as well. Now there's a time in the past where this would have been a very, very different reaction. I think overall the stock market's getting a little bit smarter when it comes to the Tesla FUD. It's having less and less effect. Some people may still argue that they believe that Tesla needs a PR department, and I will still argue there's not much logic to that. Like I said, they're supply constrained. Until that changes, they're not losing any sales, even if some dumbasses believe a few stupid, misleading headlines. So let's move on.
But we call it a moment of truth because ultimately, as Ed talked about, China's the linchpin to the Tesla bull thesis. We think 40% of deliveries next year will come from China. They can have these black eye PR issues again and again. That's why right now investors benefit of the doubt. But no doubt, if you look around the corner, this needs to be sort of put in the rearview mirror.
Well, are they right to give Tesla the benefit of the doubt right now, given that there have been multiple issues with China and it is a market that is critical to the future growth of the company?
Imagine this was your actual job. Like your role there, your producers are in your ear. Now, I'm not sure what this anchor's name is. No disrespect. I have never bothered to look it up. Let's just use something totally arbitrary. We'll call her Miss Wench. So anyway, imagine being Miss Wench and your producers are always in your ear. Your number one goal is to freak people out, spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Always go for a negative angle. Should people be worried? Is this a big issue? Blah, blah, blah. Should investors be concerned? Blah, blah, blah. Every single time there's a response from a guest on this panel, at least when I've seen her talking about Tesla, and that's the only time I've ever watched Miss Wench, it's the same story. She's coming straight back in trying to freak people out with a negative spin just to cause fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Imagine this is your job. Really. Well, this is how you feed your family. Trying to scare people, in a nutshell. But as I mentioned, we're now seeing an epic fail. Despite the media trying to freak people out and scare investors, it doesn't appear to be working at this point in time.
Yeah, and Big Brother's watching. I think that's what you've seen from Beijing. That they've, if you look at Tesla in terms of Giga, the build out there, and obviously the massive success, it's sort of been a Cinderella story up to this year. Now you've started to see some of those safety issues come to front and center. You obviously have a lot of competition with Neo Xpeng, GM and others. And look, I think right now the street's looking what looks to be a very strong month of June in China. And we think you could be starting to look at over 200,000 units. But ultimately, this stock doesn't continue to go higher unless China goes with it as part of the growth story. That's why this is what I'll call a fork in the road. I believe Tesla is now going to start to work closer and closer with regulators and put this dark tractor behind them.
Interesting. Do you think at all we're continuing to see some of the Bitcoin issues in Tesla play out here? Obviously, we know that China has cracked down on Bitcoin. We know that Elon Musk has, initially, said he was going to accept Bitcoin for Tesla, then said he wasn't, now says he's reconsidering. Does that have any impact here?
I think it's added to the noise and the volatility of the story. At a time where investors, right now, you're starting to see more of a risk-on trade across EVs. And you're seeing not just on the Chinese plays, but U.S. as well. But I think Bitcoin, the big sort of question mark here is, what sort of write-down potential they do in terms of what you've seen from an impairment with Bitcoin. I think that's the biggest question I get from investors.
Tesla's Bitcoin impairment, which will show up on their Q2 financials, is going to be a great litmus test to how smart and or dumb the stock market is overall when it comes to understanding Tesla and their financials. Stay tuned and see how the market reacts to this one.
But no doubt, now it just comes down to delivery and a smoother path in China. It's all there for the taking for Tesla and just that overall green tidal wave. But you can't have safety issues like this continuing to pop up. And that's something competition is going to use against them.
Dan Ives is such a walking contradiction. Sometimes he says things that make complete and utter sense, and other times he says the dumbest shit. Now, no disrespect to Dan here, but there was no safety issue here, and it's embarrassing to hear him regurgitate the FUD. What happened here is an authoritarian regulator forced Tesla to do an over-the-air software update because they deemed it too easy to engage their autopilot system, which, by the way, tends to be a lot safer than human drivers. Let me give you an example of what I would deem a safety issue. An airbag that, when deployed, might decapitate somebody in the car. That's a safety issue. Another example of a safety issue would be a car that for no reason whatsoever suddenly starts accelerating beyond the speed limit and will crash into any object in front of it. Another example of a safety issue might be a tyre prone to falling off while the car's operating. Those are safety issues. The ease with which you can engage the autopilot software, that's not a safety issue. That's a matter of debate. To emphasize this point further, Tesla hasn't been forced in any country outside China to make this update. That's right, you can engage the autopilot software anywhere outside of China unsafely. This kind of illustrates the point. Now, I just don't understand Dan Ives sometimes. A lot of the time he makes sense, and then occasionally he'll just throw something out that makes me question whether he knows at all what he's even talking about, or whether he's just being spoon-fed his information and bullet points from people within his organization and isn't actually doing the research himself. I don't know the story. But anyway, this is a bit of a head scratcher. And now we're going to head over to one of the funnier moments I've seen happen on CNBS relating to Tesla. But of course, before we do that, I can't forget my all-time favorite Tesla related moment on CNBS. The point when Melissa decided to troll Tim Seymour, or should we call him Tim C. Less, one of the dullest people on the entire CNBS panel. No disrespect to Tim, I'm just pointing out the facts here. The guy had literally been gobbling up all of the crazy conspiracy theories from the Tesla Cube basement-dwelling self-hating adult virgins on Twitter and thinking this was actual information. He was hating on Tesla for years and also openly admitting he was short Tesla stock. Melissa couldn't help herself but take the opportunity to poke the bear and rub salt in the wound and ask this of Tim after Tesla stock had headed to the moon.
Kathy Wood of ARK Invest. From the bull, we go to the bear. Tim, you still short?
I'm sorry, so I think you were calling on me.
You still short?
I'm sorry, so I think you were calling on me.
Oh, Melissa, you absolute savage. Anyway, that's enough of our trip down memory lane. Now let's head to more current events.
Now for the Executive Edge and a roundup of today's headlines from the auto industry. We're going to start with Tesla. The electric car company is being sued in a California state court over fees at supercharger stations. A driver is arguing that the company broke its promise to provide free charging for life when it imposed fees on customers who leave a vehicle at a station for too long. Separately, Panasonic says that it sold its stake in Tesla for about $3.6 billion in the year ended in March. The Japanese conglomerate is looking to reduce its reliance on Tesla and may use the cash for investing in growth. Panasonic makes batteries for Tesla, and a Panasonic spokesperson said that the stock sale will not change that relationship. Okay, can we back that up for a second? One guy wants to sue them because he says they're breaking their promise for free charging for life because you get a fine if you leave it there, or a fee you have to pay if you leave it there for too long. Talk about a crank.
Yeah.
Like, move your car so somebody else can charge it.
And we forget what goes into.
I can't believe we're actually doing a headline on this. Like, what a crank.
I've got to give some major credit here to Becky. She's calling out her own network on their own BS and their own FUD. Like, guys, what? We're doing a headline on this? I can't believe, like, are you stupid? This isn't news. What are you idiots doing? And as for the gigantic pile of human excrement suing Tesla, claiming they've gone back on their offer of lifetime free supercharging because they're imposing a fine for douche lords who decide to park in a supercharging stall and block others from charging. Tesla wasn't offering free lifetime parking in one of our supercharging stalls, so I'd just like to send a message to this wonderful human being. Go f*** yourself, you idiot. You're literally the world's largest douchebag. What an absolute face. Now, I can tell you guys for a fact, of the 6 human needs, shout out to Tony Robbins, if you don't know them, I'll explain later, clearly their number one need is significance. They hate their life, they've got nothing going on, this is their only way of feeling like they mean something. Suing a company over the most ridiculous and absurd, just seriously, there's an expression that applies here. FOAD. What an absolute douche. I suspect and maybe even hope that the parents of this oxygen thief are currently penning a letter to the entirety of humanity apologizing for creating this turd of a human. Anyway, let's move on. One final clip.
And Tiffany, you get the first one. Jay in Florida writes, I want to buy either Square, Tesla, or Twitter. Which of the 3 would you buy currently, or would you wait and hold until any of them dip? What do you say, Tiff?
Yeah, so Square and Twitter, I would wait and hold and buy in the dip. I own all 3, and I love them for different reasons. I have conviction around them. Square and Twitter, I do believe there's, of course, we're going to see some increased volatility. So those are good ones to buy in the dip. They're crushing numbers. But then Tesla, you have that crazy Elon Musk factor. They created and owned the luxury EV space. I would say I would love to buy this at a cheaper price, but it's just so hard to call that dip on Tesla. Even today with the news of that kind of soft recall, it's almost seems bulletproof. So if you love Tesla, just go ahead and buy it.
Just go ahead and get in for the long term.
Wise words there from Tiffany, also acknowledging that despite the recent tsunami or FUD, Tesla stock was unperturbed. As I showed you guys earlier in this video, Tesla stock closing up 2.5% on the day after this FUD tsunami. And as for the idea of waiting for Tesla stock to dip, most of you guys and girls will probably know my thoughts on that. Of course, that is if you watched my video waiting for Tesla stock to dip. Good luck. We know that video aged relatively well. Of course, I don't give investment advice, but I guess I could probably do some subliminal messaging here. So yeah, just stretching. I just wanted to get some air and stretch my legs while I made this video. No investment advice, of course. I've stretched, everything feels good. All right. And if you'd like to pick up your own Tesla Stock to Mars shirt, there's a link in the description. There's also mugs and a few other bits and pieces as well. And actually, just a quick aside, guys, I was wearing this shirt out and about in the street the other day. Saw this really attractive woman, made eye contact, checked her out pretty overtly. I mean, she was stunningly attractive, right? She saw me, she caught me, and she goes, "Did you check me out?" And I said, "Of course I did. What are you going to do?" Anyway, long story short, got a number, went out on a date, had a really great night. As she was leaving, she saw the shirt was on the floor of my bedroom. She goes, "Wait a minute, solving the money problem? Wait a minute, my boyfriend loves that channel." I'm just kidding, guys. It wasn't your girlfriend. It was your mum. Okay, guys, I may have fabricated a few details in that story there. I'm actually an adult virgin. I live in my mum's basement and I'm short Tesla stock. Shout out to my fellow members of Tesla Q. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm in quite a trolling mood today. I do not know what has gotten into me, but hey, it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below if you think the tide is turning. Are the mainstream finance media really starting to become ineffectual in terms of their ability to freak people out, scare people out of Tesla stock? Is the FUD becoming useless? And are you surprised to see the likes of Becky actually calling out her own network and being like, "Guys, what the f*** are we running this headline for?" I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like up to $250 in free crypto bonuses with BlockFi, use the link in the description. You can also get 2 free stocks with WeBull and a free stock with Stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.